don't know what your relationship is like with your father, but
really good.
But mine is, I love my father.
I'm sorry I just flexed on you and I went really good. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry my dad loves me, dude.
Today's podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use my code Nash and get $20 off your first order. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're doing great. As you know, I've been going on tour all summer long, and the tour continues into the fall. Dayton, Ohio, November 4th. Liberty Township, Ohio, November 5th. And then Irvine, California, November 12th. I'll be back here, which is really cool. Irvine's only 45 minutes away from here, so that's a fun show to play. Go down there, knock it out, meet you guys. Can't wait to meet you guys here in California. San Jose, November 19th, December 10th. In Oxnard, California, December 17th. Rounding out the year in Ontario, California. Come see me live. JasonNashTour.com. Enjoy today's podcast. Love you guys. Guys, what's up? Welcome to the podcast, All Good Things Podcast. Again, here with somebody who is a phenomenon, really, and a wonderful chap too. Funny, handsome guy, athletic, podcaster. Always been kind to me. Came and did one of my roasts and killed it.
Thank you.
With the help of Whitney Cummings' joke writing. But the delivery was there. And Josh Richards, hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me, dude.
Thank you for being here.
Of course. This is a great little studio.
It's cute. We did what we could. This studio was probably like $1,100.
Dude, it's awesome. Do you guys rent this place out?
Yeah, if you want to come rent it, you want to do BFFs from here.
This is great, dude. I feel like you could easily rent this out. In LA, everyone has a podcast now.
Why don't you do BFFs all together?
Man.
What's happened? How come? Because I love the show. I love Dave. I love when he trashes me. And I love when you defend me.
Yeah, I got you.
You always defend me.
I got to be there. You're looking good, dude. You look amazing. Come on.
That was so funny. He was like, the first time I got on his radar was on BFFs, and I was like, I was talking about something, and I got on his radar. He didn't know who I was, but you knew who I was. Mm-hmm. Maybe Brianna knew who I was. And he was like, Jason Nash is like, this guy's in the vlog squad? This guy looks 80. And I was like, damn. I was like, that's cold. And I was like, but I get it. He said I look like a grandmother, and I do. But then the thing that really got me, Josh,
right,
is I worked my ass off.
Yeah.
For 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years. Worked my ass off, try to get in shape. I finally get there. I'm not thinking about Dave Portnoy. No. I'm not thinking about him at all. And then, I feel pretty good about myself, going about my day. Right. And then I come on BFFs again. And, David had posted a picture of me ripped, And so, of course, it got on your radar. And he's like, I think it looks weird. And I was like, are you kidding me? What do you want, dude?
It's hard to please that guy.
Hard to please.
What I mean? When you were out of shape, he didn't f with it. When you were in shape, he didn't f with it.
But that's what I love. That's what I love about him. Is I know when he says something, he's just saying what he thinks. Yeah. There's nothing behind it. There's no animosity. He gave Dobrik's a bad rating.
Yeah.
He gave it a 6.4.
Yep.
And so I was just like, I think that's probably what he really thought.
Yeah, I don't think this guy, I don't think he's saying things to be mean. I think it's just, he has no filter.
Yeah.
Right? So when something comes to his mind, he just says it. Where, most human beings, we kind of think about what we're going to say. We're like, all right, does that sound, how would I feel if I said that?
Which is a terrible web to be in. You're like, what do I say about this? How do I say this politely?
Right.
And he doesn't bother with that.
Yeah, it's all our PR training that we've been put through, and he's just done none of it.
Yeah.
Which works.
Is Brianna that way too?
I think she's more careful about what she says. I think, she definitely has had times where she says things and then regrets it. There's been a time where she made comments about Taylor Swift or something. And then she just realized oh, okay, the Swifties they're too strong. They're too strong. What was I thinking,
Dude, I can't, I'm so tired, so sick of hearing about Taylor Swift. My fiance loves Taylor Swift. We spent thousands of dollars to go see her in Vegas, and it was great.
Yeah, phenomenal show.
It's great. It was great. I will say that, but it's not my cup of tea. And it was the best night of her life. And then I'm like, okay, good, that's over. Taylor had her run in this house. Yep. Wonderful. We did it. And then it just keeps coming. The movie comes out this weekend, and that's all she's talking about.
Oh, you're gonna have to go to it.
Yeah, gonna have to go to it.
Yep.
$96 million at the box office. And it's just like sometimes when I see stuff like that, I'm like, it's enough about one person.
Right.
How about somebody else?
Someone else getting the cycle.
Yeah. How about Dua Lipa?
Yeah.
Let's have Dua Lipa have a run.
Or like Ariana Grande has been pretty silent for a while, you know?
Yes.
Where's she at? What's she doing besides dating that guy that did the voice of SpongeBob or whatever it is? Like, where's she at?
I like having you here because you know about sports. What do you think about Travis Kelce and Taylor?
I mean, we talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit on BFFs. Obviously, it's all over the headlines. So I think it's a great couple. I think it's pretty cool because I think personally, when you look at people that Taylor Swift has dated in the past, it's been very different from a Travis Kelce type. You know, someone that is athletic, someone that's got she's usually dating these people that are more in the public eye around, you know, music or whatnot. They're more of an artist, but now she's going for that athlete type. And I think it works. I think it works well.
You like it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't need it necessarily shoved down my throat when I'm watching Sunday football.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's good.
They talk about it a lot on Sunday football.
Every touchdown, it cuts to her, even if it's not Travis Kelce. I think I was watching a Bills game the other day, and they just cut to her watching the Kansas City game in the middle of it. I was like, whoa, that's weird.
It cut to
that was a replay
play
of last week. I don't understand why that's being shown after Josh Allen throws a touchdown. But no, yeah, I think you know the NFL's eating it up. Like they're smart. They realize if 2% of people that started watching NFL because of Taylor Swift came on, right? If 2% out of that group became football fans, that's a huge win for the NFL. So they're going to market the hell out of Taylor Swift. Of course, they're going to put it in the bio of the NFL and be like, Chiefs 2-0 since being Swifties. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do all those things.
It's not
great.
in the bio.
Oh, it was in the bio. I promise. I promise if you went and looked, it was like Chiefs 2-0 since being Swifties. Everything was about her. She took over. She's going to make $4.1 billion off her tour. It's ridiculous.
They tried to do a sketch like that on Saturday Night Live this past weekend. It was like Terry Bradshaw talking about Taylor Swift and Michael Strahan. And that's the problem with comedy a little bit now. It's like, I didn't think the sketch hit, but because it's almost like everyone's so savvy that when you watch the NFL today, those guys are funny in their own right. You know what I mean? So sometimes stuff doesn't really work because they're already doing it. Commercials are already doing what SNL does. Fox NFL has become such a... Or how about that show with Shaq and the NBA pregame show? What do they do?
Yeah. Or even like Pat McAfee has one before the NFL now too, which is like very comedic and is like playing with the audience and all that. So yeah, it's harder when, you know, you're a place like SNL that does parody. Like to parody a parody is a little bit difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's so tough. It's so tough to be SNL, especially too with like all the jokes get hit on TikTok from Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
and then SNL has to come and try to do something Saturday night.
That is different than everything that you've seen all week long on TikTok. Which people are quick, man. They see something and it's like they're posting it an hour after they just the popular moment was just put out in the cycle. You know what I mean? Like people are taking that, going in their room, filming on their phone, editing it on TikTok, and being able to post so quickly where SNL can't do that fast.
No. There was a joke that this comedian Fahim Anwar told. I saw it on Wednesday, and it was like him at the Comedy Store, maybe the night before, and it was a great joke. It was like, Mia Khalifa said all this stuff about Israel and Palestine. She lost her sponsorship with Playboy, but I couldn't get that far because I started Googling her. Something like that, you know, like I never figured out what happened because I went down like a Mia Khalifa. I'm butchering the joke.
But I get where you're going.
But it's hard to retell
other people's jokes.
But the same exact joke was on SNL. Michael Che told pretty much the same joke. And I was like, damn, I saw this 3 days ago.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I'm not saying he stole it.
No, but people have the same idea.
People have the same idea. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it does make it difficult when you have to wait an entire week. I mean, that's a lot like when we talk about like headlines for BFFs, or I used to have like a little segment on my YouTube called Tea Talk. It's like
I did Tea Talk.
Yeah, you were there for
2.2 million views. I just looked at it. I just saw it.
It was a great time. It was awesome, it was right? So when I was doing those videos, it's like I waited once a week. So anything that would happen, like sometimes I would go and post a video, and then that night a bunch of the drama or like stuff would happen. It's like now I gotta wait 7 more days to go and talk about that. So it's like, how do I talk about that in the light that's going to be new and entertaining to people besides what they just saw all over their TikTok For You page for the last 6 days?
Yeah.
You know? So you do have to be really creative. You do have to change it up.
You've been through so much drama. And you're only 21, dude.
Only 21.
You're only 21.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that? Like I'm 50.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Makes Dave Portnoy feel better too.
Yeah, I mean he's not far off though. He's not far off from the 50 mark. Like he's a lot closer to the 50 mark than he is far away from it. You know what I mean?
D'Amelio.
But no, yeah, I feel like I just think like sometimes I get very much in my head about time. Like I feel like I'm someone that's very, very much like I got to make sure that I'm living in the present. I'm making the most of every day. But I find that sometimes takes me out of living in the present in a way.
Talk more about that. What do you mean?
I think I'm someone that really gets in my own head about being the best I can be. And I think sometimes that actually halts my capability of being the best I can be because I get so consumed in my own thoughts of thinking of the future that I'm neither living in the future or the present.
Right.
So you're living in this weird imagination land where you're thinking of all these possible outcomes. What could happen? You know, what happens if this happens or X, Y, and Z? So I just think like I try to take a step back from that every once in a while and just like absorb what's all around me. You know, that's why I think it's good to like have people like my sister in my house right now is very able to keep me grounded. You know, she's known me my whole life. My
sister work with you?
Yeah, she works with me at CrossCheck right now. She's like kind of out here doing a year off school, getting to experience LA. I mean, young, I think it's good to take a year and like find out who you are.
She younger than you or older than you?
She's younger than me.
She's younger than you?
Yeah. She's a year, 18 months younger than me. So
okay, not too far off.
Yeah,
but still, not close. An older sister that can give you good advice.
Not necessarily. She won't be able to, you know, maybe give me all the advice in the world, but what she is able to do is, I think, ground me. There's just something about, you know, she's known me since I was her whole life, and she's known me since I was 1. So when she's talking to me, it comes from a different place than someone else. You know, that's family. Like that's someone that at the end of the day is always going to have what's best for me in mind. And she cares a lot about me. We're really, really close. My whole family's really close. So just having people like that around me, I think kind of bring me back and like ground me again and be like, all right, yeah, look what you're doing. Like you're 21 years old. Like chill. Like you got time. You're having fun. You're out in LA. You're getting to do what you love, and you're getting to provide at the same time while doing that all. Like, what more could you ask for? You're very, very blessed. So I think I just try to like remind myself that every once in a while.
Wow, that's good. That's good. You have anyone else around in your life that does that for you?
I mean, yeah, I think everyone I try to keep around in my life does that for me. I think Chris does that for me. I think that my girlfriend Gabby does that for me. I think Anthony does that for me. Everyone that, you know, is in my inner circle, Bryce, like everyone is able to bring something out of me, and that's why I keep them around. Like, or that's why I'm happy they have stuck around with me. Like, there's something about just those special type of people in your life that are, you know, Bryce is able to go and like make me forget about any problems. Like, we go out, we just have fun, and it's just a great time. And it's like you cut loose and you don't worry about work. I'm not worried about views. I'm not worried about likes. I'm not worried about, you know, if this like brand is going to end up going through with the campaign we've pitched, or is my like comedy sketch show going to be released on the date we have set out for it. It's just, you go out and have fun. Anthony and I'm able to chill and forget about everything. We just chill, relax, watch anime. It's the greatest time. My sister, we're joking around, talking about back in like school, like look at where we've come and where we are now, you know. Gabby's able to, we go out and it's like, I get to have someone that is so interested in my day and so interested about who I am and how I feel and all these things. So it's like those people all provide such a value.
And does the you make a lot of TikToks with Gabby? Does that ever blow up in your personal life?
No, I think.
How long have you been seeing her?
I guess we've been dating now for like 3.5 months, 3.5 months. But we've, you know, been hanging out for probably like 6 months, half a year. But yeah, no,
where's she from?
She's from Brazil, Rio.
Oh.
Yeah.
You been down there yet?
I haven't been down there. I'm planning on it, but I haven't been down there yet. Definitely want to go. I want to go to the Carnival, do all that. They have some great festivities down in Brazil. So
yeah.
want to participate.
And so one of the things that I would always, whenever I watch BFFs, what it like kills me. It's like they'll be you'll be doing the show's good, and then all of a sudden you're commenting on everybody, and then all of a sudden something will come up, and it'll be like you're the appetizer now, and suddenly you're on the chopping block. And specifically, it was a clip that I was like, I saw it was your ex-girlfriend saying something like, that she only did stuff. Your relationship was just for views, and content, and then you could see you handled it really well. You answered the question really well. You're like, that's the way it goes. Blah blah blah. You were pretty diplomatic, but then as I watched it, I was like, oh man, I bet that kind of stung. Like I bet that kind of hurt, and he's filming.
Yeah. I mean, it's
right.
It's tough when you're doing the podcast, and I think a big thing about BFFs is we leave a lot of it for the moment. Yep. Right. So it's we're not necessarily going through the sheet. I think in a lot of ways, they don't want me to see the sheet before I start the podcast. So they'll send it to me as we're 5 minutes into the podcast.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. But I think, it's when you're seeing drama like that, come out, and this is my first reaction on it. I usually am going to try to be as fair or whatever about it as I can. Obviously, emotion comes into play, so you start going in either direction. But at the end of the day, it's I think we were over the drama. I think we were over that relationship drama. So I was just kind of look, it is what it is. It's life. We're all moving on.
Have you ever gotten a call from somebody that you talked about on BFFs?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Livy Dunn was a big one.
What'd you say about her?
It wasn't even what I said. It was what Markel said. Markel came on our podcast, and he said how his interaction with Livy Dunn was not a great one. And his first impression was that she was a little bit snarky or a little bit or whatever it was. And we were all oh, okay. And Markel was definitely joking with it. And you could tell even how he was talking, it was very playful. It wasn't so much attacking. And he was I think he even made a comment if she said sorry, I wouldn't care. But it was just what the heck? I thought we were all cool. And then she started hitting him up and getting mad about it. She ended up calling me and saying stuff about being a fake friend and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, we can talk to Markel, or we can talk about the clip and try to figure it out, or you can come on next week and state your opinion, whatever you want to do. And I was trying to be helpful. And then she goes and makes more comments and goes live and makes a video talking about how I'm being two-faced, and I was texting her while the podcast was going on about the Markel situation, trying to give her information to be her friend, and then actually posted it about her, which none of that was true. We texted about it a day or 2 days after the podcast had been filmed and recorded. So she was just kind of going off, and I think felt a little bit threatened just because she was starting to blow up, when she's probably experiencing first little bit of hate. She hadn't experienced that before. But I think we're all past it now, and we're all cool and good. But yeah, I think people just get scared when they see a little bit of drama circulating their name and they're not used to it.
It's funny when you're new to drama.
Yeah, you handle it very differently, right?
I had an assistant, and she would she started to go on Reddit, and it was no,
yeah, don't do that.
Don't go on there.
No, it's worse than Twitter. What are you doing? Oh.
And it's bad when they're picking her apart. She's just barely in my video or something, or yeah, that's tough.
It's an evil place, though, man.
It really is, and especially for Livy too. That was a good point. What you said was if you're new to it.
Yeah, you're new to it, right?
What is this?
All of a sudden you have comments and people you don't even know telling you you're a terrible person and how you should live your life and change for the better. And it's oh my God, what is going on?
I tell you, when I used to do I would make vines or whatever, make Instagram videos about famous people or whatever, or say something about someone on Twitter. Until you have someone do that to you. Once you have someone do that to you, you're suddenly oh. I almost feel stupid admitting this, but there was a point where I go, oh my God,
that's what it feels
that's what it feels like.
Right,
that's what I've been doing to people. By saying oh, I don't think this person's so great. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So now I don't really talk about anybody, but because I know what it feels like.
Yeah, I feel I don't necessarily ever talk to people. I like to make fun of people, but I think those are two different things.
Yes, but sometimes
it's all in like the light. And also I think like if you dish, you got to be able to receive as well.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? So it's like I'm someone that I feel like there's a lot of people that, you know, will have an opinion on me or make videos about me, or there's TikToks about me making fun about me and all that stuff. And I'm so fine with it. Like Bryce will make fun of me. I make fun of Bryce back. You know, like all of us are on BFFs making fun of each other. So for me,
that's a little different though, because you're friends with Bryce.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I were to make a TikTok about Jonah, like he knows I'm kidding. Maybe he won't, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think, you know, there's been people that I don't know that have made videos about me, and there's people that comment about me every day that I don't know.
Yep.
So I'm chill with it. I'm not like going in my comments and attacking people. You never see me like responding to hate comments and being like, shut the fuck up. Like I don't really care. So if people are gonna dish on me, I'm gonna make fun of everyone. Like I think it's like people take everything way too seriously, and it's better if we can all just laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, it really is.
No, none of us are perfect, or none of us have like know what we're doing exactly. Like everyone's figuring shit out and like stumbling and falling and tripping over themselves. Like it's a lot better when you're laughing on the way up, you know? So
guys, today's podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, the one and only best ticketing app in the nation, around the world. The one company that has been with me since the very beginning of this podcast, SeatGeek.com. Go check them out. SeatGeek is just an amazing ticketing app where you can get tickets to concert events, sporting events. You can do it all on SeatGeek. The service works great. You can get tickets to anything. You get the tickets fast. You get them right on your phone. And right now, SeatGeek has an incredible offer for first-time customers. If you use my code NASH, you're going to get $20 off your first order. Right off the top. Right off the top, $20 off. Go get it. Go to the link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube and download the SeatGeek app and have it and make it a part of your life because they've been a part of mine for so long. Use code NASH. That's SeatGeek.com. My thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring this podcast. All right, so your sketch show.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that?
Yeah, so that's been super exciting. Been working on that what feels like almost like a year. But
how many sketches is it?
It's gonna be 7 episodes total. There's gonna be 5 episodes in every sketch, so 35 sketches.
35?
Yeah, 35 sketches. A lot of sketches.
How long did it take you to shoot 35 sketches?
We started filming, I think I want to say like end of May, middle of May. We probably started filming. We took like a little break because I had travel in the summer, so there was like a month where we didn't film the sketches. I think maybe June it was.
Yeah.
But July and August, super heavy. September, really heavy, and then we're finishing up now. We're kind of coming to the end, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's been an awesome like process to get to be involved in the creation of a project that's been such a passion of mine and something I've wanted to do for so long, and get to be a part of it from like the writer's room all the way to giving notes on editing.
It's the best, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Like you get to really see your vision come to life. You get to put all your input into it, and obviously I had a lot of really amazing people helping alongside, like at Crosscheck. So yeah, it was a really, really fun.
I made a movie once. I made 2 movies, but one of them had like a bigger production. And just like making decisions like that feels so great. You're just like, someone comes in, they're like, red or white, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, red. And then they're like, Jason, we're going to show you the set. And you're like, oh, yes. What do you think of this? And all that. It's
feel like a big dog.
Yeah, you feel like a big dog.
Good.
It's very intoxicating.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And the movie tanked, but.
Oh, no, that's not. I mean, would make me feel like a little dog then.
Yeah. Okay, and then it'll be out next year?
This will come out in November.
In November?
Yeah.
What's it called?
So it's called Read the Room.
Read the Room?
Yeah.
Great title.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been really exciting. Obviously, got to bring in a bunch of people that were friends of mine, if that's, you know, in the social media lane or if that's in the acting lane or some people that are comics. It's been really cool to get to just like pull a bunch of people from a bunch of different worlds.
Who are your favorite cameos in the show?
We have some good cameos coming up, so, you know, stuff could get beat. But I really, really like the sketch we did with That's a Bad Idea. These 2 guys, Curry and Cooper, they're awesome. And they do a bunch of stuff on TikTok. They do sketches, and they're just killer, man.
I think I know those guys.
They're so funny. They're so great to work with. They just know how to be a good presence on set. And yeah, they were just so easy to work with, so amazing. We had like some technical difficulties with camera stuff where like we had a file go corrupt, so we had to reshoot. Like, and they're just like, yeah, sure, whenever. Like, no, this happens. Like, they're just the best, so understanding. So it was awesome. Michael Baling came in one, killed it. We were talking about that a little bit before the podcast, the Good Doc, Bad Doc sketch I was talking about. He came in and did a role that you had to get really angry but still be able to play it in a fun way, and he did a phenomenal job. Like, he did a great job. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Whitney came in for a podcast. It was good. It's going to be fun.
For a podcast?
I'm on a podcast. I'm losing my head here. Whitney came in for a sketch, and it was great.
Okay, cool. So November, Read the Room.
Yep.
Okay, we'll look for it. Are you still a big hockey fan?
Yeah, for sure.
Why isn't hockey bigger?
Man, the branding from the NHL, they just don't do a good job at getting their players to do more with the media.
You know what I think it is?
Tell me.
I read once that hockey lost a lot when they put the helmets on.
Helmets are a huge factor, for sure. But look at the NFL. The NFL's huge.
Yeah, that's true.
And they all wear helmets. So there is a part of that for sure. You know, where you walk down the street and you might see your favorite NHL player without recognizing him because he doesn't have that helmet on. So, you know, people have said, like, helmets, you're covering up the face. That's how you recognize someone. Like, how are you going to be able to recognize someone without that? But there's also a point in, like, those post-game interviews when you have those guys talking about themselves. In hockey, you're kind of trained from a young age that it's all about the team and it's never about you. It's like, it's very much like, you know, I just got to, like, someone could have scored 3 goals and had 4 assists, and they're asking them about their game, and they're like, you know, like, I just got to give it up to the boys. They played a great game. The coaches set out a plan for us, and we executed on that plan. I wouldn't have been able to put those pucks in the net without my boys feeding me up in the perfect slot. So it's just like stuff like that. You know what I mean? They are never like, yeah, I'm the shit. Which more NFL guys do, NBA guys do.
More of a European take.
Yeah, it's like you got to have that confidence because that's those clips that go viral. That's where people attach themselves. You know, you need to have that Allen Iverson cockiness to you, like where in hockey we're not seeing that, and we're starting to see some of it. Like I think like Trevor Zegras was pretty great at like bringing a lot of attention to hockey with just like him pulling out like the Michigan, which is just like a crazy move, and he scored a goal. Like there's just things like that helped the game, but a lot of it was also like they went on a strike when the basketball NBA and NHL were pretty much tied in rate of growth, I believe, and this was like prior to 2000, like 2001, 2002.
Yeah,
this is before my time, but they were both growing, and NHL might have even been a little bit quicker, and they were kind of battling for that third slot of like the major league sports, right? Mm-hmm. And then NHL went into a strike or whatnot, a lockdown, and NBA shot up because everyone was like, oh, we can't watch hockey this year.
Oh, you think that's what happened?
So then they started watching NBA. I mean, I think that's like a huge factor of it, right? Like everyone, like New York was becoming massive. Like everyone was like attached to the Rangers and the Islanders. And then it's like, oh, well, I guess we'll watch like the Knicks, you know, like it's like, and then it changed in the Nets.
I think what you said is right. It's like, you know, that team mentality. It's not the same. It's more like the American mentality of like me.
Yeah.
But also when you just go back to the helmets for a second, in the NFL, they do have helmets, yes, but there's a break in the action on TV to the point where you're looking at like the drama of Tom Brady. You're getting moments of like Brady now, 27 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
He can, you know, and you're kind of, it stops and it allows you to like emotionally attach yourself.
Yeah,
in
it's slower
football,
pace, and they're allowed to give you, like, they get to give you those storylines.
Yeah.
While you're watching the game.
In hockey, you just don't get that. There's no break.
It's such a quick-paced game.
So fucking quick.
It's such a quick-paced game. That's why I always say, like, hockey is the best sport to go watch live. I don't think there's a better live sporting event
hockey
than
is
NHL.
The best. Oh, it's unreal.
It's so much fun. Like, you go to a live hockey game. You could have never watched hockey before in your life. Not watched one bit of it on TV. You go to a live game.
Yep.
You're going to become a hockey fan.
I saw a shootout one night. Down in Compton. No, I saw a shootout one night in at the Kings. Now, do they still do shootouts? Or did they get rid of that?
Yeah, they do. They just don't do it in the playoffs.
So what happens? Okay, right.
Because like they don't want. if you go and you win a playoff game from a shootout, it's like, well, that's not hockey anymore. That's like a guy going up against a goalie, and it's like all in his hands, all in like how, like, you know, there's like skill that's involved in that, but not necessarily hockey. Like, so they moved to where, or it's been like that for a while, but it's just like 20-minute overtime. If you don't score, no one scores. Another 20-minute overtime, another 20-minute overtime, another 20-minute overtime, until one team scores, and then it's over.
Has it gone into multiple overtimes?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like 3?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
I
like
think like the
period?
record is like, I want to say it's like they played like the equivalent of like 3 hockey games or something like that in one night. It was
okay,
insane.
And then last question, then I'll move off hockey. Why is fighting still allowed?
Because that's just
because it's sick.
It's awesome. What? There's nothing better than that, right?
So you punch somebody in the NBA, you're suspended.
Yeah.
For 3 games or whatever.
Yeah.
In hockey, there's a
5-minute penalty.
In hockey, there's a guy on the team that's there just to fight.
Yeah, and
a bruiser.
You see a lot less of that now. Like, they've definitely gotten away from someone. Like, before you could get into the league for just being a bruiser and being like a big boy who can hit and like you're good at getting guys off the puck. But like now you do need to have skill as well. Like, there's not just guys in the league that are just like absolutely terrible at hockey, but like they can just fight. Like, you still do need to be a good enough hockey player. And yes, there are some guys that are in the league because they're bigger and they can hit and they, you know, they do have that bruiser kind of mentality, but they've definitely stepped away from what it was. Like, now, like, if you take off your helmet to fight, it's added, like, there's added penalty to that. So, like, where before every fight was helmet, gloves off, and you go, right? So, like, there's just, like, there's been some changes to try to make it safer and whatnot, but if you take the fighting out of hockey, like, you're taking hockey out of hockey. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you doing? So, you got to keep it in.
It's bizarre they haven't gotten rid of it. Like, you would think, and I know why the league hasn't gotten rid of it, because it
is one of the things that like
makes people want to watch.
Puts hockey, you know, like a little bit in a different realm. Like, you're allowed to just drop the gloves and fight in this sport. What other sport is like that? You know, there are none. There are none. So that's just that's
golf,
the best part. No,
not ping pong.
Yeah. I'm close to fighting people in golf a lot, but you can't. You can't.
You like to golf?
Love to golf.
Yeah.
Golf doesn't love me though.
It's a very frustrating.
It's a tough sport, man. It's
very
a tough sport. It's frustrating.
Did you watch the Tiger doc?
I didn't actually. No.
You should watch it.
Yeah, good.
You know what's great about it is I didn't know how great he was.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew he was great, but he was like the same things that Michael Jordan did in like clutch situations.
Oh, he's
Tiger did as well.
Yeah, unreal. I mean, the best golfer I feel we've ever seen.
And the story is so great because it's like, you know, his father had him out there at 3 years old, and his father just like, I don't know what your relationship is like with your father, but
really good.
But mine is, you know, I love my father.
I'm sorry I just flexed on you and I went really good. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry my dad loves me, dude.
What's your dad like?
He's great.
Well, let me clean this up because my dad's watching. I love my dad.
Yeah.
I love my dad, but he was tough on me. But go ahead. What's your dad like?
My dad, I mean, he's great. I would say he was tough, but he wasn't like abusive. You know,
no.
He wasn't.
But he was tough
bad.
on you.
He was tough, but like because he knew what I was able to do. He knew what like.
In what way was he tough on you?
I think it was just like, you know, he was a coach.
Oh.
So like
he coached you in hockey?
Coached me in hockey. He would like often not want to be the head coach of my team though.
That is the worst setup for a child and son.
Yeah.
The dad's the coach.
Yeah.
There's no way to win.
It's hard. It's a
unless
tough
the kid is like phenomenal.
The best in the world and it's not even close. Like, you know what I mean? But no, my dad, because of that setup, would purposely, I feel like a lot of the times, not end up being my head coach. Like, he'd be an assistant coach on the team, right? So like he was able, like, because he also really wanted to be involved in what I did. Like, my parents were just super supportive as well. Like, in everything I did, they wanted to be there and rally for me, which was amazing. But yeah, I mean, this guy had me, you know, I was 2 years old, 3 years old, probably like 3 years old, but it was before I had started going to school, and like we were in my room and he was having like the 12 by 12 math. My dad's a math teacher, he's a calculus teacher. We'd have the 12 by 12 multiplication tables out, and I'm like having to memorize every single one, you know? And then it was like I'm going to hockey in the morning at like probably like wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get on the ice before, which it sucks we did all this work and it didn't pan out at all. My bad, Dad. I'm sorry, dude. You just didn't have the genetics to pass on to me. This is more on you than me.
How good were you? How good were you?
I was very all right.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was just okay at
Did you play high school?
No, I didn't play high school. By the time I'd gone to high school, I feel, one, I was like playing more lacrosse.
Yeah.
I'd like kind of moved more into lacrosse. And then also I think I just like social media started taking over so much.
Yeah.
I was like focusing so much on that, doing so much with it, that there were a lot of times where I was like, I had to pick what I was going to do. Like it was like, I don't have time to play on a lacrosse team and a hockey team and then do like other high school sports and then also do my social, like it was just like, I'd have like one has to go.
When was the first time you made money on social media? Was it the live streaming?
Yeah, I was live streaming.
On Musical.ly?
Yeah, on Musical.ly, went live. Like these like emojis to me were just like popping up on the screen. I was like, what are these? And like people were like, oh, they're gifts. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I didn't think like money was being sent. I was like, oh, dope. And then the live stream ended. I didn't go live for a while. Actually like kind of stopped posting, was just like affected my high school life a lot. Like, and I had started high school kind of when I started social media, or I started social media just before starting high school. So, like going to social media or going to high school, being the only kid that does social media in your own town, it wasn't like very popular musically. It's not like I was doing like cool videos, So that was tough. And I was just like, all right, maybe I just want like a regular high school. Like I'm going to stop doing this. And
did you get for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like, fair enough. I probably would have shown the kid that was doing it too if I wasn't doing it. Like, and so I ended up going back and looking at my account, thinking like maybe I could like sell my account, make like $1,000 or something, right? Like maybe I could do that. And I like log into my account. I end up going live one more time just for jokes. And someone was like, did you know that gift I sent you way back when was money? And I was like, what? And I like end my live and I go to think and I had like $100 sitting in my wallet on Musical.ly live. And I was like, who's the breadwinner now, mom and dad? Who's the breadwinner now?
So $100 to a 14-year-old kid or whoever is insane. Right?
I am rich, dude. So I was like, selling this. This is a gold mine. Like, so I started going live and I started posting again and it's like the rest is history essentially.
And then did you finish high school?
No,
You didn't.
I went into online school for my senior year. And very quickly into my senior year, like I knew I was moving to LA that year, and that's why I went into online school. We were starting Sway.
Yeah.
It was all in that time. So I went into online, moved out to the Sway House. You knew what the Sway House was like. You think I was doing online school while I was in the Sway House?
Yeah, because you were only...
I was 17 when we started
17
that.
when you started the Sway House?
There was no way in that environment. I was logging into school at 7 in the morning and let me get my classes done. I just didn't finish.
What did you think when someone called you and they were like, we're going to make a thing called the Sway House. It's not a boy band, but it's like a boy band, but it's you guys are content creators.
Yeah, I mean, no one really called me because like we were the ones that came up with the idea.
Oh, you came up with the idea?
Yeah, it was like me and like Bryce and all of them were all living in the house together at Bryce's old house in, I think it was like Glendale or something like that. I had finished tour. All the like Anthony, Jaden, Griffin, all of those guys were on the tour. They just finished with me and like some of them went home. Some of us stayed in LA for a little bit to like just hang out. And I knew Bryce not very well. DM'd him. I was like, yo, dude, I need to order some weed. I know no one in LA. Can I like order it to your house and come pick it up? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, sick. So DM'd him, said that, went to his house. I was like, I have a couple of homies with me. They cool to pull up. He was like, yeah, come through. So he went over, started like just like hanging out, talking, making videos. He was kind of like, I think a little bit, we were younger than him by a couple years. We were like the new kids on the block in a way.
Yeah.
He had like been big on Musical.ly, but like Musical.ly had kind of went away. He was like doing a little bit of YouTube stuff. So I think he was like sussing us out a little bit and was like, all right, we're going to throw a party here tonight. You guys want to party? And he was like trying to see if we could hang, like all this stuff, right? And then we like all got pretty close over the span of like a week and just started like, we were like staying at Bryce's and like living there. We were all making videos together every single day. We were like getting Bryce to make a new TikTok account. That's the account he uses today. We were like, make a new account. Like it'll help. Like just like restart. We'll like all make videos together. And we were kind of just all like, why aren't we doing this full time. Like, let's just like live together. Like some of the boys in LA were looking for a new place. We were like, fuck that. Let's just all move in together.
Yeah.
And go start this with the Talent X management company that was going on at the same time that we were like founding and everything. So that was kind of the story of Sweat.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you helped Bryce.
Well, I think we all helped each other.
Yeah, y'all.
You know, like I think that there was like an importance of all of us like kind of coming together. Like me and Anthony and Jaden and Griffin had all just come off the tour. All like we're like pretty like trending at the moment on social media, but you know we didn't know LA for sure. Yeah. We didn't know like the people out here. So like we were able to come out. We were able to meet Bryce. Bryce was kind of able to introduce us to a lot of like just like the LA lifestyle and like the nightlife and stuff, which there is importance to that, like in just like getting to know people and getting to know like kind of the clique and whatnot. No, I never really had a fake. I had Bryce's old ID for a while that I would use.
Did it work?
Yeah. But a lot of the time people would be like, dude, I know who you are. And I'd be like, yeah, no. And they would be like, yeah.
That's really funny.
Like, you have the podcast with Dave, I watch it. And I'm like, oh.
And then what would happen?
And then they'd be like, are you going to be cool in there if I let you in tonight? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, okay. And then like, that's usually what would happen.
And then Dave hits you up and you start BFFs, or you hit Dave up?
He tweeted about me from Drama. He was like, why are these wiggle dickers on my page?
What were you saying about Dave Portnoy?
It wasn't even about Dave. We were just trending from the diss track me and Bryce made. I think
right.
Yeah. I think that's what the drama was. And then me and Dave started talking about it on Instagram Live. We kind of got together after that, just saying like we should do some more stuff. Like this worked really well. We had a lot of people watching the live. It's like 80,000 concurrents or something like that. And it was like an Instagram Live of just us guesting out of the blue. Like, so did well. We were like, all right, let's like turn this into a show where like we talk about the drama every week and I can like fill you in and you can give your opinion. Like I think people would really like that. So that's really how it like came to be. But
damn. And are you doing stuff with Barstool now too?
Yeah, like besides the podcast as of like right now, we don't have anything else like slated. Mm-hmm. But we've definitely like talked with Barstool just about, you know, different opportunities or how like even like BFFs can become like a bigger thing, bringing that on the road, or like right now we're working on hiring like someone that's like solely for BFFs at Barstool. Like that would be their job, just because like it's getting to a point where we kind of need that. Like we're having a guy that's handling all of Dave's stuff and then BFFs and then another show. Like BFFs has gotten big enough in its own right where it like kind of needs someone that's just like day to day on BFFs. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Damn. That's pretty, it's like a pairing that you would never, ever, 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 ever think.
Yeah.
But like hats off to you to be able to recognize like, you know, that it would work.
I think when you're able to make people say, what the fuck, that works often. You know, like when it's one of those combos that people don't expect, they're intrigued by it like quite a bit. Like, and that's what the general population's like reaction was when they saw me and Dave get teamed up together. They were like, what the fuck? Why is this 18-year-old teaming up with this 43-year-old or whatever he was at the time to do this podcast? Like,
yeah, right after.
They're not even in the same demo lane at all. This doesn't make any sense. Like Dave's fans were shitting on me at the start. Like my fans were shitting on Dave. And then you watch and there's this like every week we'd post a podcast and, you know, there'd be a couple people on Dave's side that'd be like, all right, this Josh guy seems pretty chill, actually. He seems like a normal dude. Like, I could, like, drink a beer with him. And then, like, you know, some of the people on my side were like, oh, Dave's actually hilarious. Oh, my God, he's a Swiftie. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like people started kind of coming to the middle where, like, everyone realized, like, yeah, this is a great pairing.
Right after you guys started, someone pitched me to do a podcast with Bryce.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I would have done it, but I had views with David, but I would have totally done a podcast with him.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would have talked about. Who's your favorite guest on BFFs so far?
Ever?
Theo Von was funny.
Theo Von. Theo Von was great. He was good. There was just a good flow that day, I think.
Yeah.
Like, also, that was an awesome one because, like, the guest was with me in LA, and then Dave and Bree were together. So I think it worked where it was, like, two people with two people instead of sometimes, like, if the guest is in New York with Dave and Bree and then I'm in LA, it's very much like, Hey, I think that. All right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard because, like, you're in a flow of conversation with two other people. You're not necessarily looking up at the screen all the time. Like, you know, or like you forget. You're just in the conversation. You forget there's like a fourth person. Now, you know, I'm good enough at like making my voice loud and I can like cut in. But I think when we have like a 2-and-2 split, it just works really well. Or when we're all together. So we did a bunch of podcasts in Miami when it was the Jake Paul and like, I want to say like Austin McBroom and Bryce maybe fight time.
Yep.
Like when all those fights were going on in Miami, we did like 6 or 7 in-person podcasts back to back to back. And those were really good. Those were really good, great days. All those podcasts performed really well. Like, I think there's something about us all being in person together that people really like as well. So yeah, anytime we do them in person, they're always my favorite.
And what's your relationship like with Dave, like outside of the podcast? Are you close, or is it like is he just like too old to hang out with?
Oh no, we've like hung out and stuff before. You know, it's
because I always see on the podcast you always make a thing about like you'll go do something with Brianna and leave Dave out.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily leave Dave out. I think there was a point where we invited him to so many things and he said no, that we were like, all right, this guy doesn't want to do these types
Is he the guy that gets invited, doesn't go, and then complains that he wasn't there?
No, he's the guy that like always says no to the invite, and then when he doesn't get invited, he complains because he wants the chance to reject your invite. You know? He wants to be able to shoot down the invite.
Really twisted.
He wants to be able to feel like he's a part of it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think like we've done our like we've all went to 11 before together and like went to a club. We've like done dinners. We've done just like done stuff like that. So yeah, we've all like kind of kicked it.
All right. Well, what would you say out there to anybody watching? Get any words of inspiration before we go?
Words of inspiration.
I'll tell you. You seem like you were destined for where you are.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You were making shirts when you were 10.
Yeah.
You were making head. What do you call it? Giving head.
I don't think I referred to anything of that.
It's lacrosse sticks.
The what?
Stringing the head. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, you were making lacrosse sticks when you were 13.
Sticks. Yep. Yeah.
And
making the mesh.
Sounds like your parents did a good job.
Yep. They did a great job.
And what do they think now?
They won the lottery ticket, dude. What are you talking about? No, they're super happy. They're super.
Did you buy them a house yet?
No, I gotta buy myself a house still. Wait, which one do you do first? Your parents or you? Me.
It depends
right?
how.
It's my money.
Depends how guilty you are.
I'm not that guilty.
Okay, yeah. So then you.
It's my money, right? Like set myself up, then them. They can live in my house until I get them a house.
Dude, you're such an impressive person, man. At such a young age, you've done so much.
Thank you.
You have such a good head on your shoulders, and you seem to not ever get ruffled.
Yeah, I try my best.
And my hat's off to you, dude.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me.
What else are you excited about? Got anything coming? Are you gonna act?
Yeah. I think November 10th is the date of release for Dream Scenario. It was a movie that I had a small role in with A24.
Yeah.
And it was like me, Nicolas Cage is the star of the film.
Yeah.
Noah Centineo, met him there. Me and him like play across from each other in the film.
You had a scene with Noah Centineo?
It was me, him, and Nicolas Cage actually.
No way.
And then, yeah.
How'd that go? Were you nervous that day?
For sure. I mean, come on. Like, I'm going in with people that are like, you know. Did
you have an acting coach?
Yeah, I went to class I probably started going to class like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe like a year and a half ago. 2 years ago now.
You like class?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I've not been going to class for the last like 2-3 months probably because of this sketch show that I've been shooting.
Yeah.
Like, class was on like Wednesday nights, every single night, same time. So, you know, they're not going to move the class around for me, and I had to schedule some of my shoots on that day. So it's just like, I was just like paying for a seat that I wasn't even occupying in that class. And I was like, all right, like I'll let someone else get the seat in that class and
right.
I'll focus on the show. But no, dude, yeah, doing the movie was really, really cool. Obviously, A24 is phenomenal and absolutely kill it. Views and press from like doing kind of like the film festival syndicate and like just doing that. They did the Toronto Film Festival. So yeah, it's
Dude, a
it's
scene with
exciting.
Nicolas Cage.
It's exciting. I was just really excited for that, like, role in general. Like, getting to do like a little small thing is really fun, I think, and like kind of getting to, you know, get my feet wet and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then also this November we have the sketch show coming out. So a lot of cool things.
Dude,
Moving
that's
more
awesome.
into like that lane, hopefully, for like the rest of my life. It's what I love to do.
Do
So,
more acting.
Yeah.
And sketch shows.
Yep.
All right. Read the Room, November 10th.
Read the Room. We don't have a date
Oh,
essentially
I made
yet.
that up.
Read the Room, November 10th. November 10th, Dream Scenario. That's what it was.
November 10th, Dream Scenario, and then Read the Room sometime in November.
Yep.
Josh, thank you so much for being here, dude. You're the best.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye, guys.